Your health matters. At Hanford Medical Group, you get care that feels personal and trusted. Their team treats you like family from the moment you walk in. Hanford Medical Group, where compassionate care begins. Call 559-880-6038 to schedule your visit.
From cracked to clear, Tint Plus Autoglass restores your perfect view.
Dad,
This season, give your loved ones the gift of safety and clarity with a Tint Plus Autoglass gift card. Let every holiday moment shine.
What happens when a place built to honor veterans becomes the center of a public dispute? This story begins at a Veterans Memorial, a space meant for reflection, healing, and respect. A place created so service members, especially Vietnam veterans, could feel welcomed, remembered, and at peace. But during a recent public meeting, that sense of unity was put to the test. Veterans, spouses, and longtime volunteers stepped forward to describe moments they say left them feeling disrespected, restricted, and unheard. What started as a single incident after a commemorative event quickly opened the door to years of unresolved tension between a memorial district and the people who helped build and maintain one of its most significant tributes. On one side, veterans and advocates say they are being treated like renters in their own memorial. On the other, district leaders insist rules must apply equally to everyone and deny claims of misconduct. Tonight, we take you inside that meeting. We listen to the voices on both sides, and we examine a larger question that goes beyond one incident. Who decides how a veterans memorial is used, and how should those who served be treated once the ceremony ends?
I'd like to discuss an incident involving Major Graham Campbell and his wife, Reverend Karen Campbell. Okay, Ray, if you want to go ahead and open that up.
May I? Ray, since you brought the letter up, do you want to give the general health reason? Or I'd be kind of tired.
I just received the email that printed and brought it to the
Just to summarize, I think in July, this incident occurred. It was noted to us in September, and it was not on the agenda. We didn't have to deal with it. It was not a signed letter, and it was under course. And it came into us correspondence. Now, the Law Association wanted to bring it to the board as a new item, so we can now go ahead and discuss that new item.
So if the Reverend Karen Campbell is here.
Okay. So, yeah, go ahead and open the public comment.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and open it to public comment, and then I'm also gonna have the Reverend Karen Campbell state her position on
First of all, I'd love to thank you because as many of you as veterans, if you came back from Vietnam, you know that it was not a happy welcome home. And my husband never served out of country other than Johnson Island. And so didn't have glamorous jobs that he was doing. He served 20 years in the Air Force from 66 to 86. The presentation and being able, we've seen the wall in DC, but to be able to again experience the wall here was amazing. And also he was treated like he was a really important person. And I thank you so much for that because the experience was really healing for him. And he always did, he was gathering intelligence. He was building radars to gather intelligence. And his last assignment was on, on the only ship in the Air Force, somewhere off the shores of Alaska, putting a radar on the ship to gather intelligence. The luncheon was delicious. And as we were breaking up and helping to clean off tables and whatever, Emily said, well, let's go now. And she had brought the car around to the side of the covered area where we ate. And a few minutes later, a truck came barreling in and parked right behind the car. Now there were no other cars. There was lots of room, and someone got out, and I heard someone say to them, "Well, we're getting ready to leave," and the answer was, "You'll just have to wait." And it was like, why this crazy meanness after a day that had been so really wonderful? And it all seemed, it kind of undid and put us back to where we had been with phone calls and people spitting on my husband when he wore his uniform outside of the house. He was going to UCLA and he would come home, change clothes before he went to class because he didn't want to show up on the campus in uniform. That's what the incident was. At any rate, so that's all I just wanted to bring to your attention, that kind of being here was healing and wonderful, and then kind of reversed at the very end. And my husband isn't walking well these days, and et cetera, et cetera. So the car needed to be closed, so we waited.
I am a former member of the War Committee, so I've been in and around the Memorial Hall for years, helping and volunteering. On that particular day, I was actually Mother Karen and Major Campbell's driver. So I was taking both of them to the vehicle at the time, and I saw and I witnessed what had happened. It was actually Jessica that had said to Jerry, maybe do that later, and who he snapped at. There was actually no real need for that trash to have been taken at that moment. There were still people milling around. We had the event booked for an hour past the time that this incident had happened. So logically, as a member of the public, I would think that the manager is going to be on site for another hour, and it's not of an urgent nature to have to grab the trash cans right now. And that was the attitude that was kind of thrown our way, was he had to get the trash and there was no regard to the guests on your property. And it shook both Mother Karen and Graham up, kind of being spoken to like that after the day that it was. It was, a beautiful memorial service. It was an honor to be there with the Vietnam veterans, and then to be treated like that. There was no need for it. There's no need for it. And I have seen over the years consistent disrespect of guests at this property. And even war committee members are guests when they're at this property. Because they're not you guys, they're not the memorial hall, they are the wall. And I've seen behaviors and things that are troubling for you guys as the memorial board, because you are liable for his behavior. He is just the manager. He is not in charge here. You guys are. You guys employ him. And I have not seen any kind of repercussions for the way that members of the public can sometimes be treated by Jerry. And I do have a question while I'm stood here. Who's your treasurer? Do you not have a full board?
We don't have a treasurer.
You don't have a treasurer? So you're not a legal board?
Yes, we are a legal board. And we do have a secretary and a manager that handle.
A manager isn't a board member legally. A manager is an employee.
Can I speak? Okay, let me ask you a couple of questions. I want to backtrack just a little. You witnessed the incident.
I witnessed the incident, yes. And
Uh,
it's not the first incident that I
you
witnessed.
normally the secretary, which is me, secretary treasurer, uh, evaluates the board. There's 3 signers on the board. That's me, Clem, and Jerry. So we have 2 signatures, and I have, you know, I don't need to be sitting and looking at the books over detail because I see it all the time. I see what's signed, and I know, and we go through every month go through the booking. So that's how we do operate.
Okay. As the Veterans Memorial District, are you aware that veterans have priority in this space?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. And that they are to be treated with dignity and respect at all times?
I would assume they are.
Yes. So this is what I'm talking about. Members of the public that are veterans have been disrespected by your manager, and there's been no repercussions on that.
Under your agenda, it says wall
Excuse me,
committee.
if you can state your name.
Yes, Emily Valdez Barrios.
Thank you.
It says wall committee would like to discuss the incident, but when I messaged Jerry, I told him it was to discuss, let me make sure I got it right, unprofessional behavior from the Dinuba Memorial staff and to discuss the veterans building. So the unprofessional behavior for me has gone on for several years. When I first became, when I walked out of one of your meetings several years ago, and then I asked for a meeting so that we can resolve what was happening, I was told that I couldn't even attend that meeting. Jerry told me I'm not allowed to come into this building. Now that right there is highly disrespectful. When there's an incident, the ethical thing to do is to resolve it, and that's what I was trying to do. But to be told that I could not even enter the building was uncalled for. How do you resolve something when you only have one person telling their side and you cannot get another person's side? This is a Veterans Memorial Building. I am a United States Navy veteran. I should have been respected as such. And it's okay if we have our differences, but we should have been able to resolve it. Then when I became president, I asked for a key. And Jerry told me, what do you need a key for? That's what I was told. What do you need a key for? Once again, disrespected again. And I don't like someone to come up to my face. When you enter somebody's space, that's very intimidating and disrespectful. Now, I contact Jerry throughout these years on things that we need to do because that's what I'm told I need to do. And then I find out I have to do it in another way and another way. But sometimes I don't even get confirmation that what I have done is confirmed. So I don't know if he got my message. Did my message come through? But overall, we are being disrespected and it needs to stop. We are veterans too. I may not be a Vietnam vet, but my work over the past 16 years has been for Vietnam veterans. And when I wrote on the email to Jerry that I wanted to discuss the veterans building, it's still unacceptable to us that we are having to pay anything for the use of this building when all veterans buildings are created for veterans to come here, to find peace, to have camaraderie, to have healing. This is what these buildings were for. Now, as far as I know, Mel, Clemente, Mr. Olivias, and Olivas. Apologies. Olivas. And Ronaldo, you guys are veterans. I'm not sure about Mr. Rivera.
Citizen.
Okay. You guys are veterans. You're supposed to be taking care of veterans. That is our oath to one another. And to put something that says we have to pay to use the restroom, have to pay to use the hall, when we have to go all the way to a Rosie and everybody's asking us, why aren't you having events here? We used to have them here. But when you have a menudo breakfast and you have to pay security for a menudo breakfast, there is no one drinking at that time of the morning. You guys should be saying, what can I do to help you? And we've always acknowledged every bit of help that you gave us for that wall. There are things that there's no way we could have done without you. And we've said it. Thank you very much. Now, right now, a lot of you guys ask why our guys don't come. I'm going to tell you why they don't come. And this is what they have said to us. Because of their PTSD, they feel like it's a slap in the face. They feel unwelcome. Bad enough after Vietnam, they were not welcome. And that's how they feel right now. And they need you guys to welcome them. This is where they get welcomed. And this is why the taxes are paid. So that upon returning, they felt at home. They need something like that. But to be intimidated, whatever reason Jerry talks to me that way, I don't know. But I'm not going to be talked to like that anymore. I'm done with that. I will not be talked to in that manner. We have a new president now who is also female, Vietnam veteran, and I hope she's not treated like I was treated. And I hope you guys consider what you're charging us, because if it continues, right here, we have social media here. Media is going to put it out that this board is charging veterans the use of this. And I'm going to take it even further. And I don't want to have to take a petition to recall anyone, because I'm hoping you guys do the right thing. But if you don't, I'm going to do everything in my power to have you guys recall. Those of you who wish to continue to charge veterans for their own building shouldn't have to do that. These guys are at the age where they need to find peace and closure and healing. So I really do hope you guys do the right thing. I am asking you to please do the right thing for veterans. And Ruthie has given you that AB 671 on what this veterans building is supposed to be used for. And I agree with Tamsin, nothing has been done. And Jerry can't talk to people that way anymore. You just can't. So I hope you guys do something about it. And like I said, I hope you do something and start accepting veterans into this building, open it up so we can fundraise and keep our word and our commitment to take care of those grounds when we need to. And when Jerry gave me that key, he told me, don't be thinking you can show up anytime. I want to know what you're doing. What else would I be doing when I come here other than to clean the wall, upkeep the maintenance, and to just say we can only get 1 or 2 keys? We are grown people. We're not asking for 10 or 20 keys. We are only asking for a few. And let us keep our commitment to maintain that wall. That's all that we're asking, is to work with us. And let's join together and make this successful. When I first came here 16 years ago, this place was hopping with veteran events. It was amazing. And we'd like to see it that way again. And we'd like to work with every single one of you. That's what we are asking. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Wanda Widger. I'm a minister of the Gospel of Jesus Christ. And I have been coming to this building and loving it since 2012. I've never been disrespected. I believe Jerry has gone above and beyond helping every time we've had an event here. And he's a good man. And I think he served this building well for all of these years. So, none of us have perfect days every day. I don't know about you, but sometimes I have a few flashes myself. Even though I have Jesus in my heart, sometimes I move him aside and say, I'm going to fire on this person. But that doesn't make everything wrong.
I have volunteered here since I moved back from Los Angeles, and things were going great. I mean, I'm honored to come back home. I went to Rossi High School. I dealt with communities. I dealt with a lot of people, and several times it has not been pleasant. Overhearing our committee being yelled to and downed, degraded. On the phone with the speaker on, and there's several women out there waiting for tables to be put up for us to get going on what we have to do is unacceptable. All I'm saying is that, again, a certain person here by the name of Jerry has come up with this situations, and it's not acceptable. My eyes, I have 5 brothers that served in the military. You can't do your job or you don't want to do your job, you have to have a meeting and we have the table set, we have everything. We go out there to have our functions. It's a big deal. There's no tables, there's no Jerry, there's no nothing. We're standing around listening to people. Well, what's going on? Why can't we, why isn't anything set up? Why do we have to wait? Why doesn't anybody have a key besides him to set things up? I don't understand that. I can't understand that. Because you're not a good person as people perceive you. You may be deceiving a lot of people, but you don't deceive a lot of people here either. And that's not right. If you can't do the job, find somebody else that can. That is my opinion. And I'm sure it's a lot of other people's opinion. There's a couple of people that weren't able to make it today. And it's because of illness or whatever. And I have been fighting illness myself. But I made it a point to come today to show and hear, for you to hear what you are letting us put up with. I don't understand why it hasn't been taken care of earlier than this. And this has been already over a year that this happened. I still get it.
Yeah.
Well, board director, Dinuba Veterans, this is my second term. To the comments that I hear, I actually, before this term I came on, I came to a meeting, and I was here when Emily was on the podium, and I did see Jerry stand up and disrespect her. I have seen these incidents of Jerry being disrespectful, his tone. So I don't know the pastor. I don't know what, I don't know any of her interacting, being here. So I can't speak on that. But as far as these incidents, I have been witness to that. I have brought that up to the board also. As the board, I don't know if I can speak on it, but I'll just say, we're in the process of something kind of concerning that also. I'm the manager myself. So I just want to say, yes, I have been witness to what they are saying. That's all. Yes, of course.
We hear your guys' complaints and we are taking them with full consideration of what you guys are telling us. There are things most of us have witnessed that do need to be addressed. Like the colleague here stated, there are things that we have to do by the, I believe it's the Brown Act. to make sure things properly go in order. We are doing our due diligence to make sure that we take care of this issue. That's it for me.
All right, thank you, Chris. Robert?
Yeah, I've been on this board for 18 years. And what you are saying, I have not seen one of those things that happened here while I've been on the board. Okay, I have a credential in counseling. So whenever Jerry has a problem, I work with him and make sure that we go in the right direction. Now you have to understand, when he's working on this building, he's not just working with one person, he's working for a lot of people at one time. So when you say that he doesn't do his job, I have not seen that. I have not seen what you guys are talking about.
Thank you, Robert. Nola?
Okay, I've been here since I think 2011, 2010, and I became the president in 2012 of this board here. And when I became president, and I would tell you this, the Law Association is a 501c3 organization. That means they have no vested interest in this building. You have to be a veterans organization like a 501c19. We allowed them, we voted for the 2011, 2012 board, voted to allow them to have the same privilege as the other two veteran groups. Most of the veterans I know that are in the audience, and you know, and your exception, I do appreciate your service, but most of them are afraid to talk to the board and point their point of view because they don't want to target on their back by the staff. That is why they're afraid. But the thing is, every single veteran, including Emily, are part of our organization. They're part of the American Legion. They're part of the veterans or the VBA, and so they have a vested interest in this building. Now, as far as the key concerned, you know, we needed somebody to be around in the local area to open the gate if people come in and they're caught. That's the only reason. It isn't a slam issue against Emily. Originally, the wall was to be a small wall placed inside this building. They were already collecting money for that. But then it was switched to the bigger wall. And the problem with that is that you had people sitting in secret meetings. When you have 3 or more board members, that's why I don't normally talk to these guys when it comes to issues. If you talk to 3 people, or if I talk to Clem talks to a third person, that could be construed as a secret meeting. Okay, so I don't stand in disrespect, and I think we calmed down a little bit. I remember seeing one public comment that Moses made. He was the president of the law at the time. He said, "Can we all get along?" But no actions taken. Why? Because it's on public comment. But in any case, and this was before I came on the board, that there was friction between the wall and this group here, and then that is why back in 2011 I reset everything. By resetting, I went back and do everything. Revoted on the wall. Revoted on the marquee that we moved. And revoted on everything else that the wall might have made that could be construed as a violation of Brown Act. In fact, I consider it a violation of Brown Act. And that's why we reset it, and that's why we did it. And then at the same time, at that time, we designated the garden as a memorial garden officially. And we allowed and gave the privilege to the WAP committee, because in my mind, they were mostly veterans anyway. We gave them the privilege of being to use the facility like they were a veteran organization, and they're not. They're a 501c3. Our monthly balance since for the last 2 years, once we started getting past all this COVID stuff, is 288,000, the average balance. That means monthly we are making more money than we had than the balance was at COVID. That means we're doing something right. We get positive comments constantly coming in. We get rebookings. I still have in my phone probably an email that said yesterday's or a couple of days ago where the people said this was a wonderful activity. The staff did a beautiful job. Not only that, we got bookings out of it, and so we must, if we're constantly getting booking because our average is above what COVID level is, we're getting rentals and we're getting, of course, we've always gotten the drop money. So we're doing something right. This board is doing something right, and it's making money. I got stacks of stuff that Jerry and Jessica is doing, and one of them has to do with before the COVID, we had 6 employees. They are handling, there's only 2 of these guys, and they're handling the job, just 2 of them. And they're making more money than they did because of our monthly balance is higher than what we had at COVID. So they got to be doing something right. And I tell you, rudeness is not one of them because I do not see it in them. I do not see that at all. And if you guys see 1 or 2 or 3 incidents, so be it. But everything I've heard from after each briefing is positive. Yeah. Well, Joe, you want to add something like that?
Well, yeah, see, and then I'll fall.
Yeah.
The only thing I would like to say to the board is just a question. Why does every other group, organization, veterans club, you name it, hundreds and hundreds of private individuals be able to book here, communicate, interact without any problems whatsoever? You guys have not had a customer in here since we reopened. Not one. Thousands and thousands of satisfied customers. Hundreds of vets and clubs and organizations and groups that meet here. I think we need to ask ourselves, why does every single complaint come from one source? And I'm not talking the wall committee either. I'm talking Emily and Tammy and Ruthie. Why does 100% of the trouble issues come from 3 people when everything else is running fine? I really think next year we need to revisit this whole thing to see if we want to continue with this relationship. Because as a manager, I'm not being rude or disrespectful. I really don't want to deal with them anymore either. It just takes all the fun out of this job. As a manager, it is my job to enforce the rules for everybody, regardless. I can't just make special exceptions every time the law committee wants to do something here, or their people don't like what they're told. The rules and procedures of this building are set. It is my job to enforce them. I do my best to be polite and respectful every time. It doesn't always come off that way. And quite frankly, when somebody has an agenda, an axe to grind, everything will be negative. So moving forward, you guys, I just ask you to consider that. Why does thousands upon thousands of people use this place for any issues whatsoever? Solid reviews, praising me and Jessica for our kindness and our respect all the time, except for 1 to 2 people. So thank you.
Is that all?
Yes.
Okay, all I've got to say is, if we offended you in any way, the Reverend Campbell, we apologize, but we are setting policies in place as we speak. That's our on the agenda and our agenda, future agenda anyway. But I would like to also let you know that we the majority of us are veterans and we support veterans, okay? And we're 100% for all the veterans, not just necessarily Dinuba. We represent uh, Alyssa, Cutler, Orange Grove, and Dinuba. Okay, we're here to help all the veterans. Okay, now whether this costs for use of the building, whether veterans or not, that's the policy of the memorial is to uh, get funds to keep this building the way it is. It's in very good condition, as you can see. We try to accommodate everyone as best we can. Jerry goes above and beyond the call of duty. I've seen him come down here uh, X amount of times and put out 200%. Okay. And whether some organizations see that we don't, I don't agree with that because I see Jerry and Jessica out here, really working to keep this building in place and helping anybody that comes out here that rents it and so forth. As far as outbursts for Jerry, I don't think I've ever seen him, but I mean, we're all human. It happens. We have our good days. We have our bad days. Okay. I believe if Jerry is doing his job, it'll show. If it's not, he's not doing his job and he's getting out of line, okay, we'll make corrections. But for a person to come out here and accuse him of stuff, okay, that's granted in his position, it's expected. But you know what? Along with all that negativity that's brought to his attention, there's also positive things that he's done. And you got to look at it both positive and negative and overall. And like I said, it's time that we unite as one rather than different groups, And this thing about the keys is, to me, is kind of my doing because I wanted control of the keys. I didn't want people just coming in whenever they wanted, Hey, I wanted control. Okay, now whether the wall committee wants to keep those keys with certain individuals, well, fine and dandy. But it's up to them how they utilize those keys. They need to designate a key holder. That way, there's no issues. And it's simple, If you have two keys, you have two people living in Dinuba, there should be no issue. The key holder should be here in Dinuba. And I'm not targeting anybody, but that's your organization's responsibility to take care of that issue. Let's all get along and move forward and put this issue behind us, which we are going to deal with. But I feel, that the wall's done a good job. But my question to them, and I'm going to put it up to them, is how long is this going to go on? Because really, according to Moses Barrows, the past president, he said that as soon as the wall was complete, they were going to turn it over to the memorial pool. Now, it's been a few years, and I will bring it up to the wall to see how long it's going to be before they turn it over to the memorial hall. Because basically, as far as I see, is all there is maintenance. And if that being said, maybe it's time to turn it over to the memorial. That way we can take over as for the maintenance, because basically there's nothing more, no more construction being done. And I think it's beautiful the way that you guys are set up and so forth. I commend you for it, but I think it's time to move on and let the memorial handle it.
And now, from your standpoint, where do you see from the discussion that you stated that you guys can't talk about it right now, but you guys stated that there might be discipline policies in the future? What do you see from that?
One of the item on the agenda that we didn't get to because we wanted to make sure that you guys didn't have to sit through a whole session was workplace violence. That was brought in by Ray. We reviewed it, and now we're going to make a discussion on carrying it out. So we're moving a lot along, and 2 people that used to have 6 people and keeping this place in perfect condition is outstanding.
Right. Now, from your standpoint, you stated also that you paid back a lot of different or other organizations. You guys have a good coffer, and that like you said, from what I've heard, that a lot, you guys are generating money, so something's going good, obviously.
Yeah, and it's I think the Ruthie and Ray were on that prior board with me, and we did start to initiate some changes in the rental agreements and stuff like that. But we were the one that eventually fine tune it to a point. And yes, we're not really charging veteran organization a lot. We got clearance from our lawyers that we can charge our expense, because we can have my 2 staff running ragged, putting up tables, cleaning the bathroom again. Unless we get reimbursed for mainly we were getting reimbursed for utility and stuff and things like that.
So your goal at the end of the day is to just recoup your losses in order to put on these events or help the organizations of veterans.
Some. I don't think we recruit a whole lot.
Emily, you came out here this morning in regards to what you thought were some issues. Go ahead and elaborate on that, please.
Well, we have some issues here at the wall, at the Vietnam Memorial Wall here in Dinuba, because we felt as veterans we were being disrespected. We are having to pay for the use of the building. We were being pretty much disrespected by the manager here on how he was treating us. So we wanted to come here and make it known that we wanted some kind of solution or something resolved on how he's been treating us. But the main thing is, as veterans, not being able to come here and use the building or being charged to use the restroom at one of our events. And we just feel that this is why these veterans buildings were created. They were created so veterans can use the building, so they can find their peace, their healing, and that's not what's happening right now.
And from that standpoint, you're looking at it and you're saying to yourself, these things are not happening. What do you think could be the solution or the outcome that you'd want to see that's a win-win situation for both organizations?
The win-win situation would be to open the doors back up, to allow us to be able to come freely to the memorial that took us 16 years to build and not have to ask permission to come on the grounds. We are veterans. We are grown adults. We should be respected as such. And we're not coming here to vandalize. We're coming here to beautify the grounds. So it's important for us to be able to do that and not be treated as children or not be able to come here when we need to come here. Having to ask permission just doesn't work for us.
Right.
We built those grounds. We put that wrought iron fence. Our past president did that with his sweat and the tears of being able to look at that wall and know that over 58,300 names are on there. And what we're doing is for them. They paid the ultimate sacrifice. So what we're doing here is letting the whole state of California know that we have a wall here that mirrors the one in Washington, D.C., and it's here for you. It's here for you who can't go on the honor flight or who can't fly or who can't go back to Washington, D.C. It's here in the state of California, in Dinuba, and we just want it resolved. We want to be able to come in, do what we need to do as veterans, take care of the commitment we said on the grounds, pull the weeds, trim the trees, wash the wall. That's the respect that we need to give this memorial grounds and not be rushed if we have an event. It's the time where you get to sit, where you get to pray, where you get to discern whatever is happening. But that healing, that's what our veterans need. And that's all we're asking. And after this meeting, I talked to the president, and I think we feel very comfortable that we can probably resolve this. These are little things, little petty things that we can resolve. So I'm hoping that we're going to be able to do that. Charging us and charging us for the use of a bathroom. That's just ridiculous to us.
Now, in regards to the outcome, they were talking about in the future item agendas that they're going to be putting a policy of behavior, so to speak. What do you think that policy of behavior should consist of?
Well, first of all, they should be attending some kind of courses on anger management, how to safeguard children. They should be even taking courses on how to treat other people, sexual harassment, any kind of harassment. They should all be going through those courses so they know how to treat people. Because you can be on dangerous ground if you don't. Um, and I think putting that resolution forward on treatment, I think that's going to be very important.
So it's a positive, it's a step forward in the right direction, so to speak.
So I believe we're moving in a step forward. I believe that it's something that we can resolve. They asked us at what point would we turn over our Vietnam Memorial Wall to the Dinuba District. That's not going to happen because I think that we have a resolution that it belongs to the wall. It belongs to the foundation. We are the owners of that wall. That is our property. And if we were ever to dissolve, I believe it says that that wall needs to go back to Texas.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to
Wow.
double check on that because I need to find out what is correct on that.
Right,
Yeah, we just can't say, here, you can have it.
right.
I mean, that's not how it works, but I don't see us ever surrendering the wall. That is a mission that we took on. Whether it has more construction, there still is beautification that needs to be done. There's benches that are still coming in, and there's still upkeep. But that's the pride that we take here in coming and finishing our work and putting the rest of the bricks. We laid close to, I think, 3,500 bricks. So those bricks still need to be engraved from people who are going to buy those bricks in memory of their family or friends or just people who are patriotic. It doesn't have to be a veteran on there. Plaques, businesses, those are our sponsors. So I don't ever see us being able to surrender that wall. They talked under comments of how much money they helped the wall with. But it doesn't matter how much money you give to someone if you are not treating them with respect. It doesn't matter. It's like an abusive man who, or even woman, who beats on their spouse and then comes back later and says, here, honey, I brought you some flowers. That doesn't make it okay. You have to treat people with kindness, with respect, with grace and dignity. And that's all we're asking for as veterans. Because I'm a United States Navy veteran, and you know that my work has been with veterans for over 40 years.
So at the end of the thing, any final thoughts about the whole conversation and how it can proceed to move forward?
My final thought is when you say you support veterans, don't just talk the talk. You have to walk the walk. You have to take care of veterans. And that means don't charge them for the use of their building. That means thank a veteran. That means when a veteran needs help, help them. Just like when we have this wall and we were trying to fundraise, we had a lot of people help us. And without the community and without the surrounding cities, I call us sister cities, this memorial would have not been possible. And it wouldn't have been possible without the previous boards to this Dinuba Memorial District. They all helped us along the way, from mayors to city councils throughout the whole cities. This couldn't have happened without them. So my final thought is, don't just say veterans are important. Act, do something to show that you mean it and you're there for veterans.